Good evening, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. More than 15 people have died after a massive explosion occurred at the Monguno local council of Borno State, northeast Nigeria. They were killed after explosives ripped through a local market in the area on Tuesday evening. Eyewitnesses say the bomb was hidden in a bag found by members of the civilian JTF in Monguno town. Monguno is one of the towns overrun by Boko Haram early this year, and most of its inhabitants now live in Maiduguri. The attack comes at a time when some locals had started returning to their hometowns following the town's liberation by the military in February. The Nigerian Army says the Command and Control Center in Maiduguri and Yola will become operational in 21 days when the installation of high-tech equipment and infrastructure development would have been completed. A statement on Wednesday by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Usman, explained that posting of additional operations staff had also commenced following the deployment of a reconnaissance and an advance team for the center last week. It also noted that the Chief of Army Staff, Kenneth Minima, and Chief of Air Staff, Adeshola Amosun, were at the MCC to commence operation last Tuesday. The center was established by a directive of Nigeria's President, Muhammadu Buhari, as part of efforts to effectively tackle the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. The United States government has clarified the donation announced by its officials to the multinational Joint Task Force to boost the military operation against the Boko Haram insurgency. It was widely reported that the United States was offering $5 billion to the multinational task force to fight Boko Haram. However, U.S. officials have now clarified the figure to be $5 million and not $5 billion. Speaking during a press briefing at the African Union Summit in South Africa, the Assistant Secretary to the State for African Affairs, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, maintained that the amount is $5 million and not $5 billion. The U.S. pledge comes days after the President of Nigeria also directed that $21 million be released to the empty JTF fund to fight Boko Haram. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, says the 27 policemen missing after terrorists attacked Goza in Borno State last August are yet to be declared dead. Arase explained that the missing officers would be declared dead after the lapse of a period of time which follows a tradition in the police force. He, however, failed to give the exact period of time when that will occur. 35 policemen were declared missing on August 20, 2014, after the insurgents attacked Goza, where one of the police training schools is located. 8 of the policemen were later found alive, while the 27 are still missing. The Nigerian Governors Forum Wednesday met to perfect plans to demand a financial bailout from the federal government to pay salaries. Some state governors have been accused of owing salaries and other backlog of debts in their various states. Aside from unpaid salaries, issues surrounding sharing of revenues accrued to the FAC account and insecurity were some of the issues discussed during the meeting held in Abuja. This is the first time the governors are meeting after about 3 years since an incident occurred.
It's a problem for both federal government and the states. You will believe with me that some of the federal agencies for 5, 6, 4 months, some of them have not gotten their salary. Why? Because federal government cannot do it because of the dwindling of the economy. As we suffer in the states, the same thing, we observe that the federal government is suffering the same fate. So therefore, instead of we to request for the bailout, you have to make sure that the government has liquidity somewhere, but where? So can I just ask federal government to do the bailout for us? And sincerely speaking, to some of the experts, this is sending a very, very wrong signal that states are as if they are in the bad shape. But we all know that the economy of the country is in bad shape. So therefore, what we suggested that many of us, a numerous number of state governors, has executed a various project for the federal government. So instead of looking for that, Let us look for the federal government to settle that backlog for us so that we can be able to move forward. Merely all the states, you can have 10 billion, 20 billion, some 30 billion, like Lagos, some more than 50 billion, undertaking the federal project that is not yet settled. So if we can get that done, then most of the issues can be resolved from the states.
He himself is inheriting not just an empty treasury, he's inheriting a huge debt profile. And I imagine that he will need all the luck and all our prayers to be able to overcome the burden that he has inherited as president. So he is not, like I said to somebody, you know, we are in a situation in which the father is critically ill. The child is critically ill. The child needs blood transfusion. Can you get the blood from the father who is also other critical condition? If you do, you might end up killing two persons. So there are no quick answers. It's not that the federal government is so healthy that it can afford. On the other hand, it is the federal government. It has responsibility to keep the system going. So I guess this is an issue we do need to discuss, you know, objectively and see how we can help to keep the Nigerian ship of state sailing and learn a couple of lessons from the current shocks and ensure that never again should we keep quiet and allow few people to help themselves with the national team and then create a situation that is now embarrassing to all of us, including the non-payment of wages, which seems to be the one that everybody seems to know about.
Now, before all the state governors of Nigeria met today, a similar meeting was held by state governors of the APC. The governors of Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, called for a bailout for states unable to pay salaries of workers over the past several months. The governors met on Tuesday evening in Abuja to discuss the salary crisis in some states. At the end of the meeting, which lasted for over 5 hours, the governors urged the federal government to step up a bailout plan for the states that have not been able to pay civil servants. Chairman of the APC Governors Forum, Rocha Sokorocha of Imo State, blamed bad economic policies of the past government for the current financial crisis facing some state governors at the moment.
We are concerned and worried by the dwindling revenue of the states, which today has affected negatively on the lives of our people. And the matter has become so serious that urgent action must be taken for a bailout for the states, as things are not getting better either. I will sat down to review on what steps could be taken. We are calling for total overhaul of the system to block all the leakages in our nation's economy. And we have realized that what we are going through today is as a result of the poor management of our nation's economy in the recent time. And in fact, the APC government has come to meet a near empty treasury. And this has become very worrisome, not to us only as governors, but I think to the entire nation. We also have congratulated the leadership of the National Assembly in their recent elections, and that produced the Senate President and other leaders, the Speaker and other leaders of the National Assembly. We render our congratulatory messages to those who won the particular election, and also to mention that we are aware that the process attracted a lot of disagreements here and there. So we, the governors, Progressive Governors Forum, have resolved to embark on the peace process and reconciliation to make sure that we will return back as members of one family as we have always been. We have also discussed to strengthen our party. This is a party that has preached change, and the change will stand. So the Progressive Governors Forum will also strengthen the party and to make it more meet up the desire of the members of this great party. At the same time, we're assuring Nigerians that our administration, the APC government, will remain focused and deliver the dividend of democracy as soon as some of these issues are resolved.
The Nigerian Labour Congress says about 18 states are still owing salaries spanning for as much as 10 months. Most of the state governors are members of the APC. To another story now, Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko has been elected the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum. Mimiko was elected at a meeting of the PDP governors in Maitama, Abuja on Wednesday. The Ondo governor was deputy to the former chairman of the forum, Godswill Akpabio, the immediate past governor of Akwa Ibom State. The PDP governors are presently 13 in number. Meanwhile, the PDP has cautioned former Kano State Governor Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso over provocative utterances capable of destabilizing the National Assembly and rubbishing the prevailing political tranquility in the country. PDP National Publicity Secretary Olisa Metu, in a statement on Tuesday, said the party was particularly shocked by what it calls the hate statement from the senator, accusing him of using some offensive language on the PDP and its members in the National Assembly. Kwankwaso had, while reacting to the recent election in the National Assembly, said that the decision by the leadership of his party, the APC, has resurrected the, quote, dead PDP. Reacting to the former governor's statement, the PDP said it was shocked by what it calls the venom and bitterness in the statement, especially coming from a former governor, an elected senator, and a highly respected former member of the PDP, who it says benefited hugely from the party as minister and a two-time state governor. Following repeated calls for action to be taken in support for food nutrition programs, both nationally and globally, a group of civil society organizations Wednesday met in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to identify the need to determine the trends in child malnutrition. The organizations, under the platform of civil society scaling up nutrition in Nigeria, highlighted the slow progress in addressing malnutrition and mortality in Nigeria. It advocated budgetary provision on nutrition as a speedy way to reduce the current level of malnutrition in the country.
What we've realized is that a lot of people in Nigeria don't actually know that malnutrition is here with us. Most of us in the city, we don't know what the situation is because the kids we see around us here are well nourished. So this is supposed to serve as a forum to increase, to raise awareness on the issues of nutrition, not just amongst the nutrition specialists, but even amongst media professionals, amongst the layman, amongst people walking on the streets, so they are aware of the situation of under 5 malnutrition in the country, and that we have a collective responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. Facing the issue of nutrition is a collective responsibility of not just the government, but of civil society, of everybody working together, because the impact, the effect of malnutrition falls on us as a society as a whole, not just the professionals alone.
The Muslim Ramadan fast is set to begin in several countries on Thursday. Saudi Arabia and several other Arab countries are among nations that have announced that the Muslim fasting month will start on Thursday. However, Muslims in Nigeria are yet to confirm when the Ramadan will officially begin. A group of Islamic clerics from the Southwest, Edo and Delta states have called on Muslims in the country to get prepared for the fasting, saying the moon will be sighted on Wednesday. Similar official announcements were made by religious authorities in Egypt, Jordan and the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Yemen, and also in Palestine. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, News Now will continue.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on TV360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. An advocacy group called Center for Social Justice has branded Nigeria's 2015 national budget as, quote, frivolous, wasteful, inappropriate and outrageously short on key budget parameters. The group says the Nigerian economy cannot truly grow when government's major responsibility is to pay salaries without adequately investing in capital expenditure. It is calling on the current administration to tinker with it and speed the process of appointing a new cabinet.
The 2015 federal budget as passed by NAS is not the budget of change that Nigerians have been waiting for. It needs to be re-engineered, restructured and overhauled. A dire economic situation needs some adjustments and reforms, or else the country will not just stagnate, it will enter the reverse gear. Recommendations. 1. Consider the implementation, this is to government, of the recommendations of the Rosanye Committee. 2. Review the approved budget, set up a committee to review the approved budget to further cut out frivolities. 3. Plug leakages in the system through enhanced performance of such revenue agencies like the Federal Inland Revenue Services, and get the Fiscal Responsibility Commission to get in due operating surplus. 3. Recover the sums due to the Treasury. You remember NAITI reports over the years have identified $18 billion outstanding to the Federation account. The Ribadu Petroleum Revenue Task Force identified $4.1 billion due to the Federation account from penalties on gas flour by oil companies. 3 or 4 or 5 now, reconsider the continuation of the petroleum subsidy. Another one is to ensure that new borrowing will only be done in accordance with the Fiscal Responsibility Act. That is subject to a cost-benefit analysis, reasonable interest rates, and a long period of amortization. Another one is the full implementation of the Treasury Single Account, IPs, and other reforms. Another one, immediately appoint ministers.
Brent crude oil rose on Wednesday as strong demand and falling stockpiles in the United States pushed prices higher. Brent futures were up 99 cents at $64.69 a barrel, while U.S. crude futures were up 83 cents at $60.80 per barrel. An expected fall in the United States crude production due to the relatively high cost of producing shale has also been supportive of prices. However, despite the strength of demand in the United States and Asia, prices have mostly stayed below $65 per barrel this year. This time last year, Brent crude oil surpassed $11.115 per barrel. Police have shot and killed a white tiger that killed a man Wednesday in Georgia, officials have said. The latest development comes after severe flooding, which killed over 19 people, allowed animals to escape from the zoo in Georgia. Hundreds of wild animals escaped during the flooding that occurred in the city last week. The tiger attack happened at a warehouse in the city center. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Gabashvili apologized to the public, saying he had been misinformed by the zoo's management when he had previously said that there were no dangerous animals on the run. The zoo lost about half of its 600 animals, including lions, tigers, bears and wolves in the natural disaster. City residents were urged to stay indoors for their own safety in the aftermath of the floods. To sports now, Nigeria's Super Falcons have crashed out of the ongoing FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada after losing to the United States of America. The Super Falcons were defeated 0-1 in Vancouver on Tuesday, placing them last in their first round group. Nigeria ended up with 1 point from 1 draw and 2 losses in 3 matches after scoring 3 goals and conceding 6 defeats. Meanwhile, coach Edwin Okon says the Super Falcons have learned invaluable lessons with their ouster from the FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada. Okon, while speaking at the post-match news conference, said the team had gained experience at the competition, adding that they, however, lost focus in their last game with the United States. Swiss authorities are investigating 53 cases of possible money laundering in their inquiry into bidding for the 2018 and 2022 FIFA World Cups. Attorney General Michael Lauber said the incident had been reported by Swiss banks. He says his office was analyzing a huge amount of seized FIFA data in his inquiry. Lauber said he did not rule out interviews with FIFA President Sepp Blatter as part of his investigation. Blatter has denied any wrongdoing and announced earlier that he will step down from his position as president of FIFA. The Swiss investigation is running a parallel one being carried out by the United States of America. Separately, FIFA's chief ethics investigator said on Tuesday that the organization was also looking into alleged breaches by officials relating to the bidding for the 2018 and 2022 tournaments. The 2018 and 2022 World Cups were awarded to Russia and Qatar respectively, but senior FIFA official Domenico Scala has said the awards could be cancelled if evidence emerged that there were bribes given. We've come to the end of news now. We'll be back shortly.